and tourism is take up the sponsorship of the staff ordinance under item number 2019-105. Entitled.
You move first to change the, to suspend the order of business. You have to move it first. Because the next one is MTOP. No.
Okay.
It's still your resolution number 101.
Okay. Mr. Presiding Officer, we have a guest this morning who will give us insights of the Ormoc hymn, which later on will become an ordinance of our city. So we would like them to explain. So by that, I would like to suspend the rules, Mr. Presiding Officer. Move. So I now move to for suspension of the rules of order of business.
ST Member Peter M. Rodriguez has moved to suspend the order of business. Is there any objection from this august body? SP Member Lucero has a discussion.
No objection, Your Honor. I second the motion.
There being no objection, motion is granted.
Mr. Presiding Officer, what item is Member Rodriguez wishing to be taken up right now? He hasn't mentioned the item.
2019-015 later on. So before we take up later, let's follow what we have. I would just like to request also our guest for this morning. So I move to suspend the rules, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Let's proceed.
So, Mr. Presiding Officer, so for that, Mr. Presiding Officer, let's take up item 2019-105, therefore a draft ordinance number 2019-05 entitled an ordinance adopting Ormoc Dutang Matahum, Ormoc Beautiful Land, as the official hymn of the city of Ormoc. This is the assignment of the Committee on Tourism, Culture and Arts. The Chairman, Member Rodriguez, wishes to be recognized.
Thank you.
ST Member Peter M. Rodriguez may take the floor.
Good morning again once again to my members of this august body. This morning we have a guest who will expound and hopefully sing our official city hymn of Ormoc City. So I would like to request first the chairman of the Cultural and Festival. Ormoc Festival, Cultural and Cultural Foundation, Ma'am Pangilinan, to please join us here, ma'am.
Mr. Presiding Officer, point of order.
Wait lang. I-call ka mo. I-pass ka mo, and then we will invite them up. I-pass na rin.
Okay, thank you. Before I will take back the suspension of the rules. I now first pass this ordinance. Move to pass this ordinance, which is entitled Ordinance Adopting Ormoc Dutang Matahum, open parenthesis, Ormoc Beautiful Land, close parenthesis, as the official city hymn of the city of Ormoc. The Sangguiang Panglungsod was in receipt of an urgent endorsement letter from the City Mayor's Office and dated September 30, 2019, respectfully requesting for a resolution on ordinance adopting the Ormoc hymn entitled Ormoc Dutang Matahum, open parenthesis, Ormoc Beautiful Land, close parenthesis, as an official city hymn of Ormoc. Section 16 of Republic Act 7160, otherwise known as the Local Government Code of 1991, mandates local government units to ensure and support, among other purposes, representation and enrichment of culture. It is the trust of the local government of Ormoc is to inculcate among its people the sense of self-esteem and pride of being resident of Ormoc City, a beautiful people. The crafting of the Ormoc hymn and the integrating thereto our history and culture will indeed instill into the hearts and minds of every Ormocanos the love, loyalty, and patriotism of one's own home province and the protection and the preservation of the environment. Being a public corporation under Section 22 of the Local Government Code, LGU can adopt a local hymn to become its resounding symbol of unity and identity. The Ormoc City Culture and Arts Council on September 6, 2019 issued a resolution 2019-03 endorsing the Ormoc Dutang Matahum of the Ormoc Beautiful Land for adoption. This agreement sees the merit of the request since the following lyrics of the song Ormoc Dutang Matahum, Ormoc Beautiful Land embodies the town's rich culture, the city's rich culture and history, and the inherent beauty of the land and its people. For great purposes, as chairman of this committee, I move to pass the ordinance number 2019-015, an ordinance adopting Ormoc Dutang Matahum, Ormoc Beautiful Land, as the official city hymn of the Ormoc City.
SP Member Peter M. Rodriguez has moved to pass an ordinance, item number 2019-105, draft ordinance number 2019-05, an ordinance adopting Ormoc Dutang Matahum, parenthesis, Ormoc Beautiful Land, as the official city hymn of the city of Ormoc. Duly seconded by SP Members Rafika, SP Member Villasencio, SP Member Rama, SP Member Yertorsen, SP Member Laurente. Any objection? Objection? Discussions? Discussions? SP Member Lucero is recognized.
I now move for the open. I move to open for the time for discussion debate.
Any objection? There being none, motion is granted. Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Since we have the guests here, we would like to give them the opportunity to tell this August body about this hymn. And I would like also to be clarified, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, SP Member Lucero. With that, Mr. Presiding Officer, I now move to suspend the rules.
SP Member Rodriguez has moved to suspend the rules to accommodate our guests. Any objection? There being none, rules are hereby suspended.
Okay. I would like to request our guest for this morning, Ma'am Titi Pangilinan, to explain on how we came up with this song, with this hymn.
Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. Honorable Vice Mayor Carmelo Lupsin Jr., members of the 14th Sangguiang Panglungsod, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. First of all, allow me to convey my gratitude for this opportunity to come before this august body to present and share to you the Ormoc hymn. After the huge success of Piña Festival and the Piña Samba jingles, the Ormoc Festival and Cultural Foundation was tasked again by Mayor Richard I. Gomez for another project, to come up with an Ormoc hymn that will encapsulate in music form all that we have been, all that we are now, and all that we look forward to be. And so, after almost 2 years of brainstorming, consultations, and committee meetings of the Culture and Arts Council, we now have the finished product entitled Ormoc Dutang Matahum, or Ormoc Beautiful Land. Many have asked if coming up with a city hymn is necessary. Our answer is a resounding yes. Many of the progressive cities in the Philippines and all over the world for that matter have their own city hymns, and we thought that it is high time Ormoc, being a progressive and growing city as it is now, should have its own hymn. The Ormoc Festival and Cultural Foundation Incorporated, in partnership with the LGU and concerned stakeholders, have been proactively trying to establish an identity for Ormocanons, one we can be proud of. We know that over the past year, we have dug up our history through the Culture Mapping Project, and now we're saving it for posterity. We have introduced and are sustaining a truly Ormocanon culture under this administration. We now feel that it is high time we go one notch higher and come up with our own hymn, one that truly reflects our identity, our aspirations, our dreams, and our feelings for Ormoc City. The Ormoc hymn is an expression of these emotions in plain and simple in Ormocanon dialect, which I even think some of us here today have not heard of before. It begins with a profession of our love for the city. Awiton ta ang bukos na gugma, niining Ormoc na atong dakbayan, which sets the mood for the song. Let us sing with true devotion and love for our city. Continuing with lungsod nato mahalon ug ampingan, the city we love and treasure. Dayon pag-uswag kanatong tanan as we move forward as a people. It also describes how our rich geography is able to sustain us and tells us of our resiliency as well as a people, and how we are able to successfully adapt to the changing times. It ends with an apt description: Ormoc as a city of beautiful people. Ormoc City, we love you. The Ormoc hymn is sung in two parts, Bisaya and English, and no one should sing it in either Bisaya or in English, but its entirety. The lyrics and the hymn and the rhythm is beautiful, very distinctive, very reflective of our city and of all Ormocanons. I would like to specially recognize and thank the musical genius of Ormoc's very own, Mr. Manny Panta. Can we give him a round of applause? Who sat down with the Ormoc Festival and Cultural Foundation and who composed this wonderful piece of poetry, Third City Hymn. Please, as again, we should recognize and applaud Mr. Panta. In ending, allow me to once again thank you all for this honor, and the Ormoc Festival and Cultural Foundation Incorporated looks forward to more beautiful and productive projects in partnership with the city in the future. Cheers to Ormoc, cheers to the city of beautiful people, and cheers to Ormoc Dutang Matahum. And before I end, may I request Mr. Manny Panta to come up front so he can also share with the students present here today how the music goes. Thank you and good morning.
Good morning, my name is Manny Panta and I'm from Ormoc. Indeed, I wrote the song because I heard a story. So the first version of this song was written in 2017 after the Piña Santa Festival, and I was doing nothing. And then I heard a story, and I was not really intending to write the hymn. But then I heard a story. There was an Ebra Amin in Naval during the year. Was it 2017? Yes, okay. And then somebody told me, who was there, that during the meet, the start of the meet, every city and town were singing their city and town hymns. But Ormoc did not have any. And I don't know if this is true, but the mayor was like, dismayed that there was no Ormoc hymn. I don't know. I wasn't there. So I thought, well, why doesn't Ormoc have a hymn? We've been here for a long time already, and there's none. So I wrote a song, the first version, just out of as a project, and then I went to Mountain Inn, who's been always my best reporter, and I said, see what you can make of it. And then it's been a process. So from she made a lot of suggestions as the head of the Cultural Arts and Arts Foundation of Ormoc, and I incorporated her suggestions, and then we presented it to the mayor, and the mayor said we will pass it over to the DepEd, and so that they will because they will be the ones who will be disseminating this to all the schools and everything. So I went to the DepEd and we worked on it line by line, and through the vagaries of time, it took 2 years until finally here we are. And that's it. So we're at this point where it is being adopted as the hymn of Ormoc City. And if you have any questions about the wordings, yes. Or do you want me to just have the music played?
Yes, can we have it
Okay,
first?
you can play it, and I can sing on yes, it's just one piece already. Yeah, and the lyrics will be projected on the screen, so everybody can sing along if they want. Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Presiding Officer?
Yeah.
If I may suggest to everyone in this session hall, while we are studying the hymn in respect to our beautiful city, may we all stand up and go through it.
You have any questions? Yes.
Mr. Presiding Officer, Member Villasencio wishes to be recognized.
SP Member Villasencio, sir.
Okay, thank you, sir. That was a very nice song, sir. Just a small question, sir. Is mahala na Bisaya or gugma? Igugma or? No, there was a word mahala. Just fun, but I really like the song, sir.
Your question is Mahalon?
Because the song.
Mahalon means let's love. Mahalon na to ang atong kaulinan. It's When you say mahalon, expensive, but it also means mahalon nato kanang mahalon nato ang atong ginikanan.
Mahal man ang word.
Can you check the
Mahal.
Line number 69.
Line number 69. Tama ko sa Ginoo kanato mahal. Ang mahal word. Mahal means endeared.
Gusto nato mahalon og atong ampingan. Mahalon nato that is in when you write a lyric, you have to go to the simplest possible articulation, because sometimes you say mahal sa lungsod, mag-change ang melody, right? So and also it has to there is a rule in when you write a lyric that you have to put as many vowels as possible. So lungsod nato mahalon, that means mahalon nato ang lungsod nato. That means let's love our city and let's protect it. That's it. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I was just curious.
It's okay, because not everybody knows, for example, what duta means.
Yep.
But if you go to the old Ormocanons, you know, ang mga asindero din ni magsiling sila nga kanang duta din nagsidya. That is the old Ormocanon way of saying things. Of course, it's gone now because of the internet and but you know, if the Ormocanons have a specific way of, if we call it in English patwa, meaning a way of speaking that's kind of peculiar to Ormoc. Like nasiling sija, it's a combination of Buholano and Waray, but it's kind of got changed. So you go. In Waray we say nasiring hira. Yeah. But here in Ormoc we change it to nasiling sila. So because of the our proximity to the Waray region here, but also because a lot of the original inhabitants here came from Cebu and Camotes. So it created a kind of language. So it might be, you know, I hope everybody can still remember.
Majority Floor Leader, Dr. Matt.
Sir, thank you. Sir, I would like to ask, since Utah is more commonly used, everybody knows it is perfectly Cebuano, and everybody knows what Utah is more than Duta, and the title is important because the title should when one looks at the title, he should instantly be able to decipher or understand what the song is. Why isn't this song using the Dutang Matahum? Mr. Presiding Officer, Ms. Pangilinan wishes to be recognized. Mr. Presiding Officer.
Yes, please.
Yes, we took that into consideration, but the precise instructions of the mayor to incorporate old culture, old dialect into the song that will not disrupt the song itself, but will also guide and the young ones be aware of the old dialect of Ormoc. That is like what is happening in Bagong. Diba? There is a certain dialect in barangay that they want to keep. So this song is one way to keep old Ormocanon words into the song, so they can still be made aware.
Member Pinsarga wishes to be recognized, Mr. President.
SP Member Pinsarga is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President Officer. I noticed that the English version is not the interpretation of the translation of the Bisaya version. No, it is not. It is actually almost like a different hymn, but the idea is the same.
That's why you cannot choose to sing Bisaya or English, but to sing the song in its entirety.
Okay.
Yes, that's what the song.
It's not a direct translation.
No.
No, it is not a translation. It is more like an expression of the same sentiment as the Visayan version, of the Ormocanon version. Why is it that? Because of the structural requirements of writing lyrics. It's very difficult to completely translate one section of a song into another language, because then I would just be translating what. So it's like an organic whole. And also, for example, the phrase beautiful city of beautiful people was requested to be incorporated in the song by the Cultural Arts Committee. But then I would have to change, I had to change so many other lines in order to accommodate that, the entrance of that. So, can I make comments, sir?
Sure, yeah.
I feel, it's personal, it's nothing. I feel that the redundant mode and beautiful, why don't we change the beautiful city to another same meaning, like jubilant city or something, I do not know, to something, then change it to, which is the most important is the beautiful people. Yes, okay.
The song, the phrase "beautiful people" or "beautiful city," because of the tagline that is given to Ormoc, the city of beautiful people. So it was also asked upon us to incorporate the most famous tagline that is referred to Ormoc City.
Still the same meaning, but different words with the same one. And also, I noticed that the last line was Ormoc City, we love you, and in Bisaya is Ning Ormoc Syudad Nako. Why don't we why don't we say Ormoc City we live, or Ormoc City that we own, then Ormoc City that we love, something like that. So, I like the meaning, I like the first Bisaya. Bisaya, kana siyang, lyrics. It entails patriotism on our part. It entails that we have a city that we belong and we love. Okay.
Yes, Honorable President, everything was taken into consideration. That is why it took almost 2.5 years to make the song. And sometimes we have to submit ourselves to the musical rules that that is supposedly the one that is making the song, right? And before we came up with the final package, it was presented to the Ed, it was presented to the mayor, it was presented to other composers, and this is the process. It came into a process, and this is the final product, and it was really taken into consideration by a lot of people. And I guess it has already reached the approval of all the concerned and important people that was involved in the project. So even the title itself, it was put on votation. There were a lot of titles given during the cultural and arts meeting, and even it was there. Even Honorable Rastorsa was present, and Honorable Laurente, and the people voted for Dutang Matahum, and a lot of questions were asked about the lyrics. But at the end, it boils down to the composer and how he was able to defend it in front of their Ed and all the other people. So I hope we have answered your questions. Thank you.
I'd like to get the opinion of the composer itself, because as what you mentioned, it boils down to the lyrics, to the how that go on. Why make Ormoc City We Love You, Ormoc City We Love You? Why not change the first Ormoc City, which coincides with the translation of the first one? Ni Ormoc Ciudad Nato. Our city that we own. Our city, Ormoc City we own, Ormoc City we love you. As I said, the second song is not an exact translation of the first, of the Visayan song. So it has its own rules of, it has its own logic, inner logic of writing. And this is not exactly the first version. The first version was completely different. Not completely different, but the idea was the same. And if you think that it's easy to write a line of lyric, it is not. So if I start to incorporate, so that's why it went through 2.5 years of vetting. So if somebody would request something like, there was a suggestion to change Ormoc City, the original lyric was Ormoc City will defend your honor. Then the president of EBSO at that time, who was present at the meeting, said, why don't we say Ormoc City we love you, not will love you. So I took that into consideration. And then I have to gather again everybody involved, and then we have to record a new version of it. Okay, because it made sense because will love you doesn't roll easily. We just say, but we love you, it's easy to sing. And a lot of it is based more like on how singable the song is, not just because it's a correct translation of the Visayan song. Okay, so it could be that it could be its own hymn, irrespective of the. So they could be two different hymns, but then we already went to a stage where both songs will be incorporated. So. To the question of whether it should be changed, I think no, because we already went through a lot of vetting on it. And if any objection that was given to it would have been welcome at all. But at the same time, nobody did. But at the same time, there were some people who also presented their reservations that it should be a direct translation, but you cannot do that when you write songs. For example, you can What kind of song would it be that I can give as an example? Okay. Here's a song that I can tell you where it's not exactly Dahil Sa'yo, okay? The Tagalog version is Dahil Sa'yo, Nais Kong Mabuhay, okay? The English translation, somebody wrote this, because of you, life is worth living. Now, if we were to follow that rule of the direct translation, we would say, because of you, I want to live. But it doesn't sound singable. So the one who wrote the translation was, because of you, life is worth living, and etc., etc. So if you will notice, a lot of songs are not exact translations of the original one. Even books are like that too. That's why we have a saying, when somebody translates a book, tradutore, traditore, that's Italian, meaning to say, translator, traitor. And that's because they cannot exactly translate the original one into. Okay?
Yeah, thank
So,
you. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. Sir Banta. Yeah.
Mr. Presiding Officer,
Majority Floor Leader.
Member Source wishes to be recognized.
Speak member, your source is recognized.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to congratulate Sir Manny Panta for such a beautiful song and beautiful lyrics together with your team. I think Sir Manny already answered that question about translating it from Bisaya to English. However, what is important is the spirit and the message of the song is conveyed. No? That, I think that's the most important. But as he explained, it is very hard to translate it word for word, even in any other dictionaries. No? So, but it is the spirit of the song. Now, I know na there are certain words na pabalik-balik that Ormoc City will love you. You know, in music, there are different genres of music, no? Rock, and then there are different ways of interpreting their songs. This type of way of putting words na balik-balik, they call this as a chant. You know? They do it purposely because, you know, it creates a sense of awareness. No? Kanang balik-balik na word, no? It creates a sense of well-being. Now, one very good example of such a song is actually by Queen. We will rock you. No? Almost the whole lyrics are just the words, we will rock you, but it gives you a sense of heightened awareness. No? And that is why it is very important, and it will be very well remembered. No? And it creates a sense of well-being those singing the song. And then, of course, with the word duta, I know that the yuta is more common, but I think by using duta, it makes it very distinctly Ormocano. No? It now makes the song very unique. No? It's not very common anymore. So that's my 2 cents worth, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Thank you. With little time that we have.
Mr. Presiding Officer, the member Rodriguez raised his hand first, so he has to be recognized first. Member Rodriguez.
ST Member Rodriguez is recognized. Thank you, Sir Man.
Thank you to our source person, Mr. Manny Panta.
Okay.
Yes. So, are there any more?
Yes, Member Lucero is Presiding Officer.
ST Member Lucero is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I would have asked the composer himself, but if you can answer my question, that would be nice.
This will be the last discussion for this.
I hope so.
We have, this is our first item.
Thank you. Thank you.
Agenda. Sir Manny, please.
Good morning, Mr. Manny Panta. Good morning. First time I saw you, when you first came back here in Ormoc City, you were performing in Don Felipe, I think. I was one of the guests. I know how talented you are. And let me ask you this question. When you wrote the lyrics of the song as a composer, what was your inspiration? Ormoc City. Actually, I was just remembering the Ormoc City of my childhood. You could actually swim in Anila River, and you can catch fish and crabs. Now nobody does that anymore. And also Lake Danau, which is, at that time, you can only access through Patag. You cannot, there was no road going to the Lake Danau. You have to go through Patag through the land of the Larasabals. And it was a very, very difficult road. And just in general, the feeling that this is my city. I was born here. I was raised here. Of course, I left for a while, but I returned after many years of living in the U.S. and working on cruise ships. I could have lived anywhere I wanted, but I returned because I thought that over time nobody knew me anymore. I mean, I guess it's a selfish motivation, but I thought, well, I would like to do something that would be meaningful to Ormoc City, because I could do a lot of things in New York or somewhere, but it wouldn't really mean much. But so the first thing I did was to compose the Piña Samba through the request and motivation of Señora Teling Serafica, Pangilinan, and of course now this one. Okay, so this is what went through my mind.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, that's it.
Thank you, sir. No, I still have a follow-up question. Yeah, you mentioned a while ago that this song went through a lot of deliberations with the DepEd and some persons. Actually, there is another version that was sung by the after I met with Maria Chu, Pia Chu, and then we met with a couple of other personnel. We rescheduled a performance to be recorded by the DepEd teachers, which we did. So there is actually another version of this for 4 voices. There is a choral version, which maybe one day they will see. So the DepEd teachers know this by heart, this song already. But the current singers that you can hear is the Marian Christie group. And because it's difficult to gather all the DepEd teachers, they can only sing on weekends. So, and then after that, so that means it was approved, but it took a while for it to filter back to deliberations, to the final deliberations that would make it the official hymn of the city. Among all those persons in authority that you met during these deliberations of this hymn, was there anyone who told you that the hymn, since it is a hymn of Ormoc City, it should be a hymn that encapsulates the unique sense of identity of the city, our past, our present, and the future that we want it to be?
Well, we did go through it line by line, and I asked them what they thought about the hymn. So I cannot exactly remember what everyone said, but it was it went through a vetting process. Okay, thank you, sir. But because the purpose of this ordinance, as stated here in the draft, is that it is to promote and preserve the rich history, culture, and traditions of the city of Ormoc and its people through the Ormoc hymn, to have an official hymn that will provide a unique sense of identity for the city, distinct from other local government units, and to provide sense of belongingness, pride, goals, and dreams of its inhabitants, which I believe I heard from Mrs. Pangilinan, that the instruction of the mayor was a hymn that will encapsulate what we were before as people, what we are now, and what are our aspirations, what is our dream of Ormoc in the future. When I read this, the lyrics of the song, I would like to know where in the lyrics of the song that encapsulates this purpose or purposes.
I think you're distinguishing two kinds of songs. The song that you are thinking, I think, is what you might call a tourism song. That you would say would mention Lake Danao or I don't know, the war, World War II, or something like that. And there are other songs that have been written about this. But the song that eventually ended up with the words it has is that it has to be a song with an intangible understanding of the intangibles of Ormoc City. Because if you say, awiton ta ang bugos nga gugma sa Lake Danao nga atong lawaan. I mean, it is good for promoting Lake Danao, but I don't know if it will be. But for the purposes of this song, what we're trying to awake is a feeling of the general qualities of Ormoc City. Okay.
Yeah, thank you, sir, but I didn't mention about Lake Danao. I was just asking if there is any part of the song that encapsulates our past, who we are right now, and what is it that we want.
I think the environment, dagat uglasan, duta kasapaan, we have that. We have the dagat, we have the sun, and we have the sapa, which gives us livelihood. And that is a general statement of the environment of Ormoc City. And then it behoves for the Filipino, for the Ormocanos to take care of this environment that we are living in.
Just one last question, Sir Manny. Why did you incorporate an English language into the song?
Well, English is like the lingua franca of everybody. Everybody understands English. And so I thought it would be good to have an English translation or English version so that it's easy for some people. And the Visayan version would also be good for the Filipino, for the Ormocanos who are familiar with the lingo. And it could either be, it's just I don't know, I guess it's a characteristic of the hymn that I wanted to incorporate.
I was hoping you would say that it's part of our history, that during the American time when Americans came. But anyway, thank you, Mr. Manny, for that explanation. Thank you.
Thank you so much to our resource persons,
Thank you.
Giving and Sir Manny. So, I now move to close the period of debate if there are no questions. And I now also move to show the rules. Yes, Mr. President.
Any objection to the motion to close the time of debate? Any objection? There being none, motion is granted. Rules are hereby resumed. Any other discussions? Objections?
Mr. Presiding Officer, can the sponsor please move for the period of amendment?
Mr. Presiding Officer, I now move to open the period of amendments if there are some.
Any objection? Motion is granted. Please proceed.
Mr. Presiding Officer, my apologies. I was not able to take note of the discussions. I should have mentioned this during the period of amendment, but rather the period of discussion before proposing amendment, because just a amendment of form, nothing to do with the lyrics actually. First is, I would like to suggest to the author that there are some grammar errors that should, I think, be changed, like in section 99, I rather 999 rather, AI, public schools during every flag raising ceremonies. That's wrong grammar, because it should not be plural. During all flag raising ceremonies probably is better. So move, Mr. President. During all flag raising ceremonies.
Changing everyone.
So move, Mr. Presiding Officer. During all flag raising ceremonies. Yes, sir.
SP member Benjamin Congress Jr. has moved to amend said ordinance by changing in lines 99 the word every to all flag raising ceremonies. Any objection? There being none, motion is granted.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I would like also to propose to the sponsor that there should be a provision that encapsulates or covers all other ceremonies that are not mentioned here. Some kind of a blanket provision, because there may be ceremonies that should also play the hymn that are, like for example, this presentation was thinking that this hymn should be some kind of a partner of the national anthem, so that each time the Lupang Hinirang is sung, this also should also be sung. So perhaps we could add here in line 116 a section F, and in all other occasions where the Lupang Hinirang is sung in the city. So move, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Wait, what?
And in all other occasions. Yes, letter F. Where the Lupang Hinirang or the Philippine National Anthem is sung. Sung or played. Ang sung is S-U-N-G. All other occasions where the and all other occasions where the Philippine national anthem is sung or played. So moved, Mr. Presiding Officer.
SP Member Benjamin Pong Sr. has moved to amend said ordinance by adding a letter F as line 118 and all other occasions where the Philippine national anthem is sung or played. Any objection? There being none, amendments hereby carried.
Another proposal for amendment, Mr. Presiding Officer. In line 95, the recommended word is too moderate, too light. I would suggest that something stronger, like is instructed or is directed to be played or sung in a lively, joyful, and sincere manner. Maybe it is better it's worded that way. It should be stronger. Because this is our ordinance, we are not making recommendations here. We are instructing. Shall be. The hymn shall be played and sung in a lively, joyful, and sincere manner at all Ormocanos. In chorus. By all Ormocanos lang. It doesn't have to be in chorus. When you say all Ormocanos, that's already in chorus. So, the proposal is the hymn shall be played or sung in a lively, joyful, and sincere manner, in a lively, joyful, and respectful manner by all Ormocanos. So, move, Mr. Presiding Officer.
The one who is sung in lively, joyful, tama, respectful, and sincere manner. Wala pa. Yeah, and sincere. Wala pa. Sincere manner. Wala ang sincere manner, wala na by all
So, Mr. President. No. That one. Ikaliw ko, highlight.
Change from recommended shall be played. Recommended shall be played.
Recommended to play?
Yeah,
And others present.
shall be played. Change ang shall one. It's recommended to shall be played.
I-highlight ko.
Highlight
SP Member Benjamin Pong Sr. has moved to amend the said ordinance by changing recommended to shall be played and other
And for some. Others present during the occasions, events, following that should be plural, during the following occasions, events.
and others present during the following occasions, events. Any objection? There being none, amendments hereby carried.
Member Lucero is to be recognized.
SP Member Lucero is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a
Correction lang sa spelling on line 80. The word rejoice.
Rejoice.
SP, thank you. SP Member Lucero has moved to amend said ordinance by correcting the spelling in lines 80, the word rejoice. Any objection? There being none, amendment shall be carried.
Member Sirapika wishes to be recognized, Mr. Presiding Officer.
SP Member Srafika.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Actually, Mr. Presiding Officer, I should have done this earlier, but due to, I was just thinking, in line, in letter D, line 113, it says here, all persons while singing the Ormoc Dutang Matahum, Ormoc beautiful land, hymn shall stand in attention, show respect to the Philippine flag. Now, in relation to this provision, Mr. Presiding Officer, I'm just I might be critical, Mr. Presiding Officer, because, there are times when there are people who do not show respect to the Philippine flag, even when the Lupang Hinirang is being played or being sung. So, I think we should put a section here for penalty. Whoever those people who do not respect or, making fun out of this very, how do you call this? Oh, is it okay if I'm just asking Mr. Presiding Officer, we have lawyers in the house.
Not in this ordinance, siguro.
Not in the ordinance?
Not in this.
Mr. Presiding Officer, I wish to comment on that. During a research on the penalty clause, out of how many hundreds, thousand cities that are doing using the hymn, there's only one city is doing a penalty. The rest, Cebu, Quezon City, practically they don't have any penalty clause when they sing their hymn. So if we put penalty clause in this, maybe we have the second one. So hard.
Maybe the one you want the national anthem. Sana may grab penalty yan, pero this is for the hymn ng mga. I don't think maka-penalty the hymn.
Oh. But anyway, that's all, Mr. Presiding Officer.
Duly noted.
Member Pinserga wishes to be recognized.
SP Member Pinserga is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. I would just like to, actually I do not know which part is this, no? I'd like to move for the amendment on the restrictions, Mr. Presiding Officer. That the Ormoc hymn should not be played or sung for mere recreation, amusement, entertainment purposes. Sung, basically some people are singing the hymn just to entertain themselves or wherever they go. I think that's why. But we put restriction on that one. So we cannot sing it anywhere. We cannot even... I'd like to move for the amendment of this one, Mr. Presiding Officer. We can probably sing it because it's our hymn. It's who we are. For whatever purpose.
What?
Restrictions on hymn should not be played or sung. So I cannot sing it. Maybe play, maybe, but sung, I should be able to sing it. For mere recreation, amusement, or purposes.
So it's there now. What do you want? Do you want to add something there?
No, remove the not, should not.
Mr. Presiding Officer, maybe the intention of this provision, I would agree with Member Pinserga, is to protect the sanctity or the dignity or respectability of the hymn, so that it will not be sung and made fun of. So that is actually the intention here. Only that the wording would, like what Member Pinserga said, what if we sing it in a respectable manner for entertainment purposes? Is there such a thing? Would it be possible that we sing it It may be taken wrongly, like for example, if there is a party, a private party, and then the celebrant wishes to wishes to make the song a part of the program, is that allowed? If that is allowed, then I think the line 116 should be worded in such a manner so that it will not be construed as disallowance for that song to be sung in a private party. Mr. President Officer, Ms. Pangilinan, again, Mr. President, did we already? Yeah. Did?
Maybe what we can add, the Ormoc hymn must always be sung with respect. Regardless of musical respect. That's all, really.
Mr. President, Mr. Can we just delete this one? Anyway, there's already a lot of safeguards that we should sing it with respect. Because like our school hymn, I can sing it anywhere. In fact, some of us would just like to sing it. Can we just remove this one because this restricts us from loving our own hymn?
Mr. President, Officer, Member Serapika, Mr. President.
SP Member Serapika, I take it forward.
Thank you, Mr. Presiding Officer. Gusto ko muuyon ni Honorable Pinsel na Mr. Presiding Officer by removing this line 116 to 117 because, you know, Mr. Presiding Officer, in gatherings, this could happen when we are having a fellowship and when we close our fellowship. And maybe we have been drinking 2 or more bottles of beer, and we might end up our fellowship by singing the Ormoc hymn. And I do not see anything wrong with that. And in fact, it shows our passion for the love for our city, a beautiful people. So I am one with Honorable Pincelta with regards to line 116 and 117, Mr. Presiding Officer.
But Mr. Presiding Officer, is there a motion from any of the gentlemen?
I move for the amendment by deletion on line 116.
SP Member Pensargas moved to amend said ordinance by deletion, by deleting lines 116 to 117. Any objection?
Mr. Presiding Officer, there is no second.
Seconded by SP Member Seconded by SP Member Rafika. Any objection? There being none, amendments hereby carried.
Mr. Presiding Officer, there is also another thing that this presentation would like to take up. No, can we? There may be instances, Mr. Presiding Officer, where I do not know if this is applicable, where there is a need to come up with a guideline on how to really talk about the singing of the song. Would it be possible to put here a provision that actually authorizes the implementing office to authorizes the implementing office to issue guidelines? There might be instances na guidelines may be needed in order to implement this better. So might as well already include a provision that authorizes the But Mr. Presiding Officer, why is it that it is the council that implements? Isn't it the office that implements? In the section 6, the council is not an office. It's just a consultative body or policy making body. It should be the tourism office that should be implementing this. Mr. Sponsor?
Yes. Ormoc City Tourism Office. The council, the word council, will be debated and changed into office. 126. The office of city, to the office of city tourism, to the office shall be passed.
What else about that?
Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Presiding Officer. Actually, I was thinking of something more comprehensive because this is so specific. Why not the Ormoc City Tourism Office shall be tasked to fully implement this ordinance, period. So that may include circulation of, this is too specific, Mr. Presiding Officer, and shall be authorized to issue the necessary guidelines for the effective implementation of the intents of this ordinance.
It's not only just to circulate, but also to implement to the barangays and the schools, the tourism office. So you want space.
If I may suggest, Mr. Sponsor, this is how I suggest this to be worded. No? The office of the city mayor through the Ormoc City Tourism Office shall be tasked with the full implementation of the ordinance and shall be authorized to issue and additionally shall be authorized to issue the necessary guidelines for the effective implementation of the same, period.
So the whole section 6 should be
because with that kind of provision, everything is already covered, the circulation, etc. So that
okay. So there will be an amendment to this.
authorized deed, letter deed. Instead of shall be authorized to issue the necessary guidelines for the same, not for the same. Period. That's it. So move, Mr. Presiding Officer.
SP Member Congress has moved to amend said ordinance by changing Section 6, Implementing Office, which reads the office of the City Mayor through the Ormoc City Tourism Office shall be tasked with the full implementation of the ordinance and shall be authorized to issue the necessary guidelines for the same. Any objection? What did he take amendment? We never do. The second week on the Any objection? There being none, amendments hereby carried.
Member Villasencio, which is to be recognized.
Okay.
Since there are no more amendments, I now move to close the period of amendment, Mr. Chair.
Any objection? There being none, motion is granted.
Chairman, discussion at all.
Member Rama, which is to be recognized in the Senate.
Yeah, SP Member Rama is recognized.
If it's not too much to ask from the author, I would like to suggest if the body passes this on mass motion.
Pass na rin ako. Last motion as amended. SP Member Vincent Rama has moved for this ordinance to be passed in mass motion as amended. Mass motion. Duly seconded by SP Member Villasencio, SP Member Sarafica, SP Member Pinserga. Yeah. Mass motion. Any objection? Discussions? There being none, this ordinance is hereby approved in mass motion as amended.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to thank our author, Tini Pangilinan, Prime Mover of this. This hymn will be sung by our future generations of Ormocanos. Thank you so much.
May we request EP Nelson to sing it? Let's go.